Arkansas advances in the Bahamas after defeating the Stanford Cardinal in double overtime by a score of 77-74. This is Arkansas basketball recap. I'm Daniel Price. That's Jacob Price. We're here to break it all down for you. After a really terrible first half of basketball, we ended up with quite a game. Extra basketball and then extra basketball as they go into double overtime. And Arkansas ends up victorious. And man, I'll say this about both teams. The first half of this game, you were like, this looks like two not very good teams battling it out right here. I mean, Arkansas was missing layups. Some of them were contested and stuff, but stuff that if you're a college basketball player, you kind of think that you're going to make that. And Stanford couldn't hit the broadside of a barn. And so at the end of the half, what was it, 22-20? It was like not reassuring at all, not just because it was close, but it's just like, dude, neither of these teams look good. Both the teams came out and looked very different in the second half. Stanford came out swinging, got up by 9. Arkansas chipped away, got into overtime, went into double overtime, and ends up pulling away with a victory. We'll break down a lot of that. But the second half and the two overtimes, Arkansas looked more like, they got stuff to work on, but they looked more like what you want. Stanford looked much better the second half, to their credit as well. Like, that looked like a high level basketball game the second half and the overtimes. And so it was fun. Tournament style game, double overtime. If it had continued going the way it was going the first half, it would have been real depressing. But win or lose, you would have just been like, that's not, this is a bad thing. But it ended up being a really good game, an entertaining game.
Yeah, I don't even know how to, this is a difficult game to analyze. One, because
You almost had to throw out the first half, dude. Like, all the way, you almost have to start the second half because both teams looked like
well,
they had been on like a really long plane ride and got off the plane, and like it took them a half to figure out what the heck they were doing.
yeah, but it's difficult because one, it was definitely kind of a slog. Obviously the first half. Also, I'm not sure if it was, I don't want to blame the refs, but because there was a lot of, bad, I wouldn't even say it necessarily physical, but it was like just bad defense that was like guys were out of position. They were, and the offense was putting them in a lot of those positions, but a lot of bumps, a lot of jumps, badly timed jumps when you should have just stayed straight up and that kind of stuff. But the refs did blow the whistle a lot.
Yeah.
And a lot of times when I thought, I'm like, I guess yeah, that's a foul, but there was 8 of those on this possession. I don't know why you called that one. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And just little hip checks and stuff. And so the game was long. It was ugly. It was kind of a slog. It's hard. And then whenever there's double overtime, it's hard to remember all the different circumstances
Yeah.
and who did what. And then the lineup was way different. Not way different. Was moved around a little bit, which was interesting. Um, and we should talk about
Whoa,
that because
whoa.
there was some.
Hold on. I just had I don't know if that picked up or not. I think it did. I just had a wild thing happen. Go ahead, continue. A wild thing is just I have stats pulled up and there's a video, there's an ad on those stats, and it just decided to start playing, and it was a freaking rave going on. Like, that was,
An ad?
you did not hear that?
I couldn't hear it. No.
Maybe no one can hear it. I don't know. I could hear it. Jeez.
I think my reception's a little bit weak down here in this new basement. So I don't see it affecting me yet, but you're a little bit stuttery, but I think it's just on my end.
Okay.
So as long as you don't see me doing it, I think it'll be okay.
Okay.
Anyway, um, but yeah, ultimately, you can look at this game in a bunch of different ways. It's hard to it's still hard to pull any information from it that's solid. Like, if you want to be pessimistic, I would say you're starting to look at this is like the third game in a row that they've looked pretty pedestrian for large portions of the game. bad defense at certain times, terrible transition defense, some bad boxing out, not great offense at times. Um, and you could look at it and go, okay, well, the Purdue game might have been like the upper half of what we're capable of, and maybe this is not maybe not that first half, but maybe we're more like this. We're not a number 7 ranked team. Maybe we're something closer to a 30 or something like that, and maybe it's going to be another year kind of like last year where every game is up. I think it's clear that that is going to be the case. Is what I was hoping after the Purdue game, which is like, okay, we beat the number 2 team in the country in a close game. That, but like we looked really good, and so maybe we're going to have a lot of 20-point wins and games that are over at halftime. I don't think that's the case. I think every game is going to be a potential nail biter, and part of that's just the parity of the college basketball game right now. But
Mm.
I don't think we're the juggernauts that I had hoped maybe we could be. Not to say
And
that this team doesn't have a
and
lot of opportunity for.
still could be because you know how Muss does. There's still, I mean, we're 5 games in. There's a lot of games to play. There's a lot of tweaks to be made. A lot of figure. I mean, we saw some of them tonight. I mean, by the way,
Well, yeah,
Mackay finally starts. He didn't play a ton, but I thought he played well. I thought he did some things. The thing, ironically, and this is why I might say you continue starting him, is that I think I finally saw what Muss was trying to make happen with Lawson and Brazil on the floor. You kind of saw some of what that is supposed to look like because defensively it was there. And maybe that's just this matchup or whatever, but I thought Lawson played great tonight. And I mean, he played a lot of minutes and he played really
he played a
great.
lot of minutes, and he did very well. But like I said, if you're looking at if you want to be positive about it, I mean, you say like you said, long plane ride, sighted guys. Obviously, that you saw some of the videos. They were obviously out swimming and having a good time throughout the day and stuff. And or I don't know if that was yesterday or that was literally this afternoon, but um, looked like it took them a little while to get focused. And you could say, I mean, like I said, if you're being positive, you would go, you can't play a whole lot worse than that in the first half. And you had quite a few things go wrong. I mean, or like there's quite a few opportunities for guys to play better than that on defense and obviously on offense. I mean, you got very little from Battle. Ellis hardly played.
You missed a bunch of
You know,
layups. You missed multiple dunks. I mean, just wild
yeah.
stuff.
And we did the thing again that, and I think this is just part of when you have bad transition defense and you're not boxing out. What that does is it makes it hard for you to ever gain momentum and get in an offensive rhythm because the second you do something good on one end, you're getting a gut punch on the other end. I mean, there was that one plot time where we were trying to they were ahead by like I don't know 4 or 5 points, and we'd go down and somebody'd make a great shot, and you're like, okay, 2 point game, we need to start
And so,
making, and then
and
literally
someone slips
two
in
seconds
transition.
later, there's a guy making a layup on the other end, and it would be like back to back versions of that, and that I mean, I think they did get yelled at because they did start running back on offense, but
Yeah.
the fact that you're not doing that all the time is
Mm.
pretty wild. I would say my analysis.
I'll
Sorry,
tell,
I'm
I'll tell you this too. I mean, if you want to be optimistic, that's an easy game to lose.
oh well, dude. That's what I was gonna say. We should have lost that game for sure. We should have won it. We should have.
We should have won in overtime. Dude, you're gonna bank in a 36-footer or whatever, like
It should have
whatevs.
never.
But
Should have never went to overtime though.
yeah, yeah,
We
yeah,
lost that game. We lost that game in regulation, and we deserved to. What I'm saying is, Stanford played better than we did the whole regulation. They had the lead. I mean, obviously there were some aspects that we played better. Like we hit more free throws. That's one of this in the game.
we actually did out rebound them by a decent amount too.
Yeah, and like a lot of that was just the length of that game. Those guys, they thankfully that was a war of attrition. Those guys got exhausted. You could
Yeah,
see that their point guards were like that, and honestly, that's why they lost that game. That guy, short armed, no legs in that one on that free throw,
yeah,
dude. All he's got to do is make that free throw,
yeah,
and that
yeah,
game's over. You know what I mean? And you could tell he knew it. Like you make those free throws. It's a 4-point game with whatever, what it was, 7 seconds, 6 seconds to go. It's like
Mhm.
that's over. And
Yeah, it was kind
pump
of
the
weird. It's kind of weird because I felt like Stanford should have won that game in overtime, but we outplayed them
no,
in both
no,
overtimes. It shouldn't have went.
in
It should.
regulation, you mean?
Yeah, I say sorry.
No, no,
In
it shouldn't have went to double overtime. We should have won in overtime. We played better. Once it went to overtime, we had them. That we played way better in overtime. But we again, dude, I mean, I can't remember. I'm sorry, I'm having a hard time remembering the context exactly because of the double overtime erased the first overtime. But the game was over in overtime. We were
yeah,
up by like 4 points with
yeah, yeah,
like 10 seconds left or something. And then you go down and let them get a layup and then throw the ball into a big man, which by the way, I don't know what is that? Throw it to a guard. That's like
yeah, yeah,
basketball end of the game 101 is don't throw the ball to the not ball handler.
yeah.
And by the way, he literally did just like turn to lose and just like threw the ball out of bounds. And I mean, like I said, Brazil played great a lot of the game, so it's not his fault. But I'm just saying, they tried to give that game away, even though it was like almost impossible, and you couldn't believe it. And then, sure enough, then a guy banks in a freaking three to go to double overtime. Or wait,
Yeah,
yeah, that's right, right? That
yeah,
was to go to the double overtime. Yeah.
yeah.
So no, but in regulation, like I said, if they just do what they need to do,
Dude, the difference between
like they had us
dude,
beat.
let me be the optimist. The difference between us and them was we had Devo, who like when that ball went out, he just went a million miles an hour. It was just when he got fouled. It This is the dude. Do you know why we won that game? I mean, if you want to boil it down to one single thing, it is free throws. I mean,
Yeah, and honestly, I was complaining about the missed free throw. Not that we didn't shoot terribly in the first half. I mean, in regulation, but in regulation, we missed enough in a close game that you're trying to win that like towards the end, we missed 3 or 4 free throws in
well,
the
dude,
final
yeah, well, dude,
10 minutes
I mean,
that where I was like,
they shot 54% from the free throw line. We shot 78%. I mean, that's the game.
oh, dude, that they helped us out from the free throw line a lot. There was one possession, I can't remember what, I think it was in the double overtime, I think, but they had 6 free throws, I think they were only down by 3 or maybe 4. We were up, and they had 6 free throws on one possession because they only made 2 of them. They got away, like they went to the line 6 times
Mm.
down by 4 and ended up coming away down by 2. And of course, like I mean, that's why they had so many possessions because
Mm-hmm.
they'd miss a free throw and then they'd get a rebound or we'd foul them or again or whatever. And but they because we couldn't keep them off the boards. But thank God, I mean, even though they were shooting, free throws every time we fouled them, they just kept missing them at the end there, which was sweet mercies. Because honestly, it really is like I feel bad for Stanford because obviously they played pretty well and probably should not that they played, but they had an opportunity to beat us, and that would have been sweet for them. And
You froze up again.
I was getting bummed.
You said, yeah. You like said, you felt bad for Stanford and froze up.
Yeah. Uh, hold on one second. Let me do something. No, I think she's asleep. I don't know why. You wouldn't think there'd be that much like this isn't peak internet time,
No,
but I think it's just my router in the space doesn't work that well in this basement. Um, what
you
did I
felt
say?
bad. You felt bad for Stanford. Just
Oh,
start from there.
I'm trying to think of what my point was.
But it was just because I don't know. You said they had an opportunity to win the game, but they missed free throws. I don't know. They got tired.
Oh, no, yeah, I was gonna say, I mean, I've kind of felt bad for them because um I thought we lost in regulation towards when we were down by 4 and there was just a few seconds left. And um I'm trying to think of anyway, I thought we were gonna lose, and I was bummed because the difference between going to the consolation bracket and watching those games, it just takes a little bit of like
Yeah.
the spice out of it. And I I want to watch some more. I mean, not. I mean, I'll watch it anyway. But like, I'm it's the holidays. I want to sit down and watch. I want us to go all the way. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I want to keep being excited to get to something to look forward to. I mean, there's nothing better than freaking pumpkin pie and watching sports. And then when it's your team,
yeah,
which hasn't always been the case, like this whole new thing of these tournaments that they with really good games, and like I said, it's not just Arkansas. There's good games all over the place, and but like you want to be one of them. You know what I mean?
yeah,
You want to
yeah.
the fact that you're like watching great games, and you're like, odds are on next. Like that's what you want. And I was like, man, dang it, I wanted to
You want
like,
Memphis. You want Memphis, and then you're like, I want the winner of North Carolina and who's North
well,
Carolina playing? Whoever they're
and I
playing.
don't know if you said this on the podcast, but like we were talking. I mean, like what's happening to Tennessee is a bummer. Like Tennessee is a really good team, and we said this
Yeah,
before. Like these teams are all so good, and there's so much parity now, and anyone can beat anyone. You can go like a really good team like Tennessee or like us. You could come out of this tournament with a bunch of losses, and since we went in with a loss, it's like
yeah.
I mean I was looking at that game going, this is a bummer, dude. If we're gonna lose this game, and then it's like the losers bracket's not like it's a bunch of gimme stuff. Like
No,
you could
you're
come out
gonna
of this
go.
game on a
You
4 game losing streak upside down on the overall record. You know what I
yeah.
mean?
No, you lose that game, you get rewarded with playing Michigan. I mean, that sucks.
Because
But
I keep looking at our record and going, "Eh, you didn't count." You know what I
so
mean?
well, so getting to like, all right. So some actual takeaways from the game, uh, for players and that kind of stuff. What's weird is so Blocker logs the most minutes he's ever played, and by the way, looks like a freaking guy that Musselman's gonna love, right? I mean, I thought Blocker. I mean, he missed that. He went in and missed that dunk. Probably should have just laid it up, dude. I know you were hyped up or whatever, but
Definitely should have laid it up.
great steal, and it actually worked out okay because we had rebounding and all that. So I thought that was an interesting takeaway. Blocker played a lot more minutes than Ellis. I don't know if Ellis didn't start. Ellis, I don't know if he's a little bit in the doghouse or what. I don't know what's going on. I don't know if defensively Muss isn't into it. I don't know. But Blocker plays a lot more minutes. Davenport starts again. I don't know if Muss will end up changing that. He doesn't end up playing a lot of minutes or anything, but he
I know it is weird.
that's what he went with. Makai starts. Makai played good. By the way, I liked Makai. Makai did play well. He did the physical stuff. I thought he played well. So I
He
still
didn't he didn't protect the rim as well as he does sometimes. And I might have to go back and watch it because yeah, I mean he actually played okay on offense. He scored a little bit
mhm.
when he had opportunities, but
He got some like real powerful rebounds.
Makai is good on he's really good in like when you have a big man and a guy that wants to bang, and he's good at not
Mhm.
letting giving ground to those guys. And I even think he's for his size and stuff, he moves his feet pretty well and he's good on help defense.
And he's
But
good. He's good with the ball at the top. He's good. He makes good passes from like when he does get when they're running a motion offense and he ends up at the top and or he gets the ball in the high post or he makes good decisions.
it almost felt like Muss was like, um, our defense is letting guys get around us so bad, like we're scrambling and so out of position. I got to put the guy that has the best chance at the safety defense, which is he's right
No,
there.
yeah, no, I totally
I
get it. I
go
saw it.
gadget,
Yeah,
go
yeah.
gadget arms. You know
No,
what I mean?
dude,
Like
I saw it. I saw what Muss is trying to make happen. I saw it happen, which is Lawson and Brazil as your 4 and 5 should be an absolute nightmare going to the ring. Like it's arms everywhere. Like
mhm.
and tonight it was like and it was arms everywhere. And Lawson, Lawson has 5 blocks, and who knows how many other shots he altered that weren't blocks. And Lawson played great. I mean, this is Lawson's best game by a mile. I mean,
Mhm.
for sure this is the best game I think Brazil's had and since the season really started. I mean, if I'm going to player of the game, I gotta go. I mean, I don't. Maybe you'll disagree. I gotta go with co-players of the game. I
I
mean,
would
I
say
thought
so.
about this, and I gotta go with Tremont Mark. He has 25 points. Dude, just being like, I'm gonna make you foul me. I'm gonna get to the line. Like we're not
No,
like just
dude, for sure. I mean, he was the only one who consistently scored.
yeah, yeah. I mean, shot 15 free throws. I mean, like he just was doing the things. But Brazil comes out there and gives you 14 points and 17 rebounds, dude. I mean, I'm giving co-players of the game to Mark and Brazil, and like
I
because
might have
dude,
to give it to it might be Traces because I was going to say Devo Davis also like
dude in the
in the
clutch, dude.
in the clutch and just leadership and also just defense, dude. Like those guards were hard to
Mm-hmm.
guard, and
Yeah.
Devo played hard,
Well,
and
dude, he also played 45 minutes.
he like I mean it's that defense for a guy like Devo. It's harder. It's got to be frustrating for him when he's playing with such effort and intelligence and in the right in the right spot and stuff, and then to turn around behind him and somebody's out of position
Yeah,
hitting a wide open three.
the struggles on the perimeter on defense aren't Devo. That's for sure.
Mhm.
Yeah, they're not. And he was huge. I mean, like he made clutch free throws at the end of the regulation and at the end of and in overtime. Um, big timely steals, all that stuff. Yeah, Devo was huge. I mean, those three guys really. And again, Lawson played good. Blocker played really well. Battle, he was in foul trouble, and
Yeah, he did. I
they
mean, Battle didn't play well, really, and I
yeah
mean, in almost any aspect of the game. I mean, he
he got to
tried
the
hard, but like
he
he
got
just
to the
didn't
rim a
play.
couple times. He went and got fouled a couple times when the shot wasn't falling. That's good. Um, yeah, Ellis didn't play that much. Davenport didn't play that much. I mean, if I look at the minutes breakdown here, you've got, I mean, Brazil played 46 minutes. I mean, Mitchell played 17, Davenport played 10, Mark played 41, Davis played 45, Lawson played 36, Blocker played 16, Battle played 30. LLS played 6 minutes. Joseph Pinion played 3 minutes. Again, Graham doesn't get into this game. Which is wild because the first half, you're like, dude, if anyone can put the ball in the basket, like maybe run him out there real quick and see. I mean that's what he did with Pinion. I mean, at the end of the first half, Pinion played. I mean, he played the last 6 minutes of the half. I think is when he played. I think that was much just being like, dude, can someone put the ball in the hole? But for whatever reason, that's 2 games in a row. Is he hurt? I don't know. I haven't heard that. But he did not roll him out.
And you know, I mean, I always hate it when a guy like that one guy did apparently have like the game of his life. I mean, that one dude kept hitting threes,
Mm.
and I mean, it's not that they were impeccably guarded, but he grabbed him and threw him up there pretty quick.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
dude,
He
that's hard.
ran
I
to
mean,
that.
I mean that is tough to defend. You get a pin down screen and a guy. I mean, if
Well,
it's hard,
and
dude.
he's not a small guy.
No,
Like it's not like he's a little guard shooting those. Like he's pretty, lanky guy, and yeah, he would just grab the ball and in step shoot it, and they were going down for him, and that drives me crazy, dude. When they're like career night, I hate when people have career nights. You know what I mean? Like
yeah,
like he doesn't normally play like this. It
yeah.
drives me crazy, but Stanford might be good.
Oh no,
I mean,
I think in the seat. I mean, I think by a good distance. Um, not counting playing Purdue in an exhibition game. The games that matter this season. I mean, that's the best team we've played. I mean, I don't think it's close.
yeah, what's his name? Stojakovic or
Yeah,
whatever. Like
yeah,
his kid, like that guy was pretty good. That Angel kid was good. I mean, and that one guy, their big man was huge and
yeah. I mean, their point guard,
played well. And
their point guard was like that kind of point guard to get in the teeth of the defense, keep your dribble all the way across the baseline, and then like some dude just like cuts right down the lane and he makes those dime passes. Like that's so tough when guys are
Well,
doing that stuff.
and I don't know if it's that our offense is struggling right now or if their defense is decent, but
It was
we
the, I
weren't
mean,
get we weren't getting. It's not like it's not like last year where last year's even more frustrating. Well, I don't know what's more frustrating, but when you're watching guys just step back from 3-point shooters and just
yeah,
like they've got the cleanest look that any shooter could ever have, and they're just doinking them. It's like it's bad. But these we aren't getting a lot of clean looks. It's not like
no,
like
I
I'm
thought,
desperate for Pinion to get a clean, like good look where you work the ball and like
yeah,
they get out of position and like you catch it and you're like, oh, that's a good look. Like I don't know if he's had one of those all year. I mean, yeah, he's had one and during the Purdue
yeah,
game, but and the same thing, honestly, even for like Battle, like he shot the ball a couple of times. Like he never got like, well, no, he did. He had one look in the corner that was a pretty clean look that he missed, but with the rest of them, all the threes were like pretty well guarded.
no,
Even
I
the
thought,
layups were tough.
yeah, I thought
I mean,
Stanford's
and
defense was pretty good.
well, and like I said, I think it's partially that it's good. I do think we're struggling with offensive flow. Like the ball's sticking a little bit. We're not getting great ball movement and pick and roll and everything. Like it, you're not seeing. Uh, we're not getting easy shots.
Yeah,
Not at a high rate. And part of that might have been Stanford might be decent on defense. It's the thing early in the year, dude. These stats are just all over the place. It's like hard
yeah.
to know what teams are. It's hard to know what you are. You know what I mean? So, I mean, we'll know in another, 5, 6 games. But um, so far, like I said, I mean, I'd like to see us get some easier looks for sure. Although we did miss, not that those looks were like you said, they weren't easy, but we did the hard part, and then they missed the easy part. The
Yeah.
hard part was crossing that guy over and getting around him and then getting there, and then you got all the way to the cup, and then we just put weird English on a bunch of those, and they just, I
Yeah.
mean, it was kind of getting unbelievable. But anyway, happy that we won.
Oh, dude, Blocker missed that breakaway dunk, which was a great defensive play. I mean, just blew through that
Brazil
guy
missed a resist a
and
point blank dunk.
yeah, he missed two of them where he was like, "Let me put this back real quick," and you're like, "Whoa." Uh, I don't know what that's. I mean, I'm not going to tell him to stop doing that. Like, I mean, that's what he does, and so you go ahead and do that. But that's how that went. I like right now. It does look like you know Devo's Devo. And I mean, he's great. He's going to play a buttload of minutes. You need him on the floor.
We need him more than I thought after the Purdue game.
Yeah, you need Devo. I mean, dude, monster three that he hit from way deep. I mean, dude, Devo's so weird. Yeah, I was gonna say one other thing, but I'll say it after this. But like during the course of the game, you're like the ball's in Devo's hands, whatever. Like I don't know, like who knows what he's gonna do. At the end of the game, like Devo's clutch, dude. I mean, like from his freshman year when he hit that like turnaround against um Oral Roberts or whatever, and they put it like Devo is clutch. And
Mhm.
with whatever else he's got going on, he's weird on offense sometimes, but he's clutch, dude. And I don't mind Devo taking big shots. But he comes through. I don't mind him shooting big free throws. He comes through. And then the other thing is like it's some things are kind of like becoming a little clearer. Like we're not all the way there yet, but Tremont Mark's going to be is going to play a huge role on this team. If this team's going to be good, he's going to be a big part of that.
Yeah, he's nasty. Honestly, like and it's in a weird way. It's kind of subtle. Like Battle
Doesn't
is
say it
more
doesn't
of,
look dude doesn't say a lot. Like
but Battle's like body control and the way that he attacks is very typical of a scorer. You know what I
mm,
mean? He does a lot of back and forth crossover dribbling, puts his shoulder really low, gets to the hoop in a way that like you're used to seeing. Mark is a little bit odd, and it's a little bit like,
well, he's
I mean,
left-handed too. He's the
and
left-handedness looks weird, of course, always.
and a little bit of that Kevin Durant where he's so long that like he's moving quicker than you think he is, but it just doesn't look the same way that a more
Mm.
compact player looks. So his crossover is quick and he gets a step around guys a lot. I mean that I think it was the last layup that he made. Um, it is because he's left-handed, but it looked so weird because you're so used to seeing it. Looked like he should have the player was leaning to the left, and also the help defense was on the left, and the right was wide open. And I thought for sure he was going to cross over and go right, which he can do, and he did do a couple of times. But instead, he split on the left, and I was like, "Why did you go that way?" And then he made a really, really tough finish all the way
Yeah.
at the bucket. But then his step back too, like he made a couple of step backs, like it's nasty. And I mean, Battle may not be our best offensive player. It might be Mark. You know what I mean? As
Yeah,
far as
and
consistency
and
goes.
Mark is a you're is deep. Mark's the other guy on the team, but with along with Blocker, I wasn't and obviously Devo, but Mark's also a guy that's playing D. Mark. I mean, that's when Mark came here, that's what he's known at. I mean, he was known for like I'm guarding the other team's best player, and that, I mean, because his body. When you're built like you're fast, but you're long. I mean, like yeah, he's a guy that can obviously defend. And so I had when I'm looking at like the rotation stuff, I imagine in my mind, I imagine Mark and Devo playing crap tons of minutes when we get into conference play.
Yeah. Yeah, I think so. I mean, and like I said, I mean, I'm if if
And I
if
like what
you
Muss was doing a little offense defense with Battle and Blocker. I don't think that's a bad idea in a close game. Last few
oh no,
minutes
I
of the
think he's
fourth.
definitely gonna do that more and more. That's got to be a little bit. You got to have the right kind of attitude to take that. It's got to be a little bit insulting if you're Battle. You know what I mean? To just have be like, get out here. We got to get somebody in there that really wants to guard somebody. You know what I mean?
Which
And I
it
actually
was
thought Battle was putting in a lot of effort. Like I said, he's just one of those guys, dude. Like he fouls
yeah.
when he's and this is what I'm saying about like defensive players. It's not just about like want to blocker. Or I mean, Battle was at times you could tell he was like putting in a lot of effort. You can tell he's been like not personally maybe yelled at or maybe but like the team has been getting
Well, dude, he
admonished
just he
to play
just
better
he just
defense.
he knows like if I'm gonna be on the floor, like no matter how good a shooter I am, I can't suck on defense or I'm not gonna
Right,
be on the floor.
but he's one of those guys that when he starts to play with too much intensity he
Uh-huh.
fouls. And I mean a lot of guys do that because it's hard to play good defense without fouling. It
Yeah.
really is a talent. And
Well,
yeah,
there's
so
there's the insult on the other end. I mean, it's different for Blocker. He's a freshman, so it's like, hey, we're just gonna slide you in and out here. I need you to go guard these. It's funny. So my daughter, this is no one cares about this, but it's the same exact situation. My daughter's a sophomore. She's a good basketball player. Uh, but she's a sophomore and there's seniors she's in varsity ball now and there's seniors ahead of her and stuff. And she's carved out a role for herself. We're 5 games into the season and every game she's played more and more and more. And in the fourth quarter of games or the end of the half, the other team's got the ball, like she starts going in and she is the person, she's Leighton Blocker for the Razorbacks right now on her team. And like you could be like, oh man, so like what? You only want to put me out here to play defense, but it's when you're young, when you're low on the on the in the hierarchy, it's a way for you to carve out a space for yourself, right? And she's
mhm.
really embraced that. Like, yeah, I mean, I don't play a ton, but when we need stops, when we're running a press, guess who's in the game? I'm in the game for sure. And that's what she's doing right now. And that role will get bigger as she get and blockers will too. I mean that if blocker sticks around, and I think he should, because he's exactly the kind of guy Musselman likes. He'll just be Devo like later on, and
Mhm.
like and so you're low on the totem pole, but that's a great role for him to carve out for himself. I mean, it's a that defensive intensity and that willingness to play defense is going to create a space for him to have the opportunity to do other things, right? And so like you take what you're given and then try to do it as best you can, and then try to see if you can expand that and get more and more. And I expect Blocker will kind of probably have. I mean, it's early in the season, and I know like must like have 10 games from now, like things could totally change. But I suspect that you will see Blocker in that role going forward.
Yeah. Yeah, I think so. Well, it's like 11 o'clock. Wait, no, it's like midnight here, huh?
Yeah.
So we
Yep.
probably ought
Gotta
to put this.
wrap this thing up, get it out.
Sorry if I was lethargic and tired.
We'll
That
get back.
game
We got to do that. We got,
ended late, and then Dan had to watch it a little bit later, and I had to drive home. So
well, we will be doing this 2 more times, either way. So we'll do this twice over Thanksgiving. We'll do it tomorrow on Thanksgiving. So on Thanksgiving, we'll be watching the game, and at some point Thanksgiving night, we'll come
what
out
time is
with
the
a
game
video.
tomorrow?
I think it's at 4. It
Well,
it
maybe it'll
won't
be
it,
out.
it'll be out. It'll be out a little bit later. I don't know if I'll get to watch it live or not. We'll see how that works, but we
If we're
will
doing this
watch
many,
it.
we probably need to shorten these up. No one wants to hear us talk this long anyway, so we probably need to make these a little bit more 20-minute range for if
Yeah.
people are, if we hope people to
Well,
indulge
you
in
had you had this freaking
three of them in 3 days.
yeah, you had a freaking 9 minute freaking you know rant at the beginning of it before we get into the details of the game. So
I did.
yeah.
You're, I think you're the one that
No,
starts and talks for a long time.
no, I mean, I turn it over. We're talking about like all kinds of freaking like flow and philosophy, and then we get into the details of the game. And I'm telling stories about my daughter that no one cares about. So yeah, it's hey, you're either here for it or you're not. I don't know. Like we're not getting paid, whatever.
Yeah.
All right, like
Well,
well,
and
woo
that being
pig.
said, yeah, I mean, not to be serious, but the world is crazy, and it is a fun time of year, not only because of Thanksgiving and family, if you've got them and all that, but getting to separate from the stresses of the reality of life and just watch bunch of sports and eat some turkey. It's
Yeah, dude, it's
gonna be
good.
a good time. So
It's the best.
happy Thanksgiving, everybody.
Yeah.
Enjoy
Hey,
it.
by the way, Friday, Jake and I will be together from an undisclosed location doing family stuff, and but we're gonna be making time to watch the game for sure, and we'll definitely be recapping it. So who knows?
We should
Maybe
get
we yeah, say maybe we'll get
Bobo and Caleb on there.
maybe we'll get our other brothers on this thing. You never know. We'll see it. We'll see.
Get Dad on there.
We'll see. You might have thoughts, dude.
Dude, I got to show you this picture. There was a guy behind me today, and I thought it was Dad. And I actually called Dad and was like, "Are you right behind me in a weird car?" And he's like, "No." And I took a picture of this dude in my rearview mirror, and it's wild. I'm like, "How is this not Dad? It looks just like him. Who is this guy?"
That's hilarious.
I know it's not though, because I was talking to him on the phone, and this guy didn't pick up his phone. But if it wasn't for that, I probably wouldn't have believed him.
That's
But,
what. Okay, send me that. All right. Well,
all
I'll
right.
see you
Happy
tomorrow, bro.
Thanksgiving, everybody.
Happy Thanksgiving. We'll
Go
see you.
Hogs.
Bye.